Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday Show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by my two favorite Wednesday Show hosts, Terry D. Manis.
Hello.
And Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. I was looking for you around 8:30, and you weren't here. I was concerned, and then I saw you in chat, and I figured everything's okay.
Yeah.
You doing all right?
I figured it out. I figured it out right away. I just, like I said, I was a little bit late. My brother was asking me on my way back from the bathroom, questions, and I'm like, I gotta go, gotta stream, and he was like, you always gotta stream. I'm like, yeah, on Wednesday.
How you doing, Terry?
I'm all right. I am not quite as tired as I normally am, so I'll take that as a win.
Cool. Well, I am doing pretty good. I've worked out a process making the Wednesday show a lot easier for me to produce, so that's making it easier on my nerves and my schedule and all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually doing Wednesday show prep on Tuesdays, and just hoping that nothing big happens, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning that I have to switch everything around for. Been lucky so far, though.
Yes.
Before we get into the topics that we're not going to use, why don't we see who's in chat tonight?
Okay, so over on Rumble, we have JB, or technically J Blizzard 427, Blue Eyed Scream 76. We have conversation about Yakuza. Takes a lot of talking. Then Kevin shows up, and I think that might be everyone. I'm not seeing any new names. So if I did manage to miss you, I apologize, but I think that's everyone.
Jen?
All right. Starting at the top. Hi, Hammer.
Hello.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Micah. Hi, Blue Eyed Scream. Hi, Jay Bliza. Said that weird. I don't know why. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
And hi, Random. You're supposed to yell that, but I don't want to yell in a wooden building. So, hello, Random.
Where's GBO? I haven't seen him in a while.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll be around.
Topics for tonight. Snapped. Walmart is closing all their stores and Snap benefits fury. Everybody who's on Snap says they're going to go rob Walmart, so they're closing November 1st. Melissa,
I don't blame them.
There's a hurricane that's just hit Jamaica, but it's only a Category 3. It was supposed to come in as a Category 5, but it petered out a little bit. Still 110 to 120 mile an hour winds. Cheating. 1,084 cases of illegals who voted in Ohio in 2018 have been found.
Jesus.
Now, it's only 1,000, but it's 1,000. So
that's 1,000 more than it should be.
Right. And then there's a fourth one that I didn't publish to everybody. It's called Monumental. Trump restores the Confederate statue felled in 2020. A general in Illinois, I think it was, that they had taken down. The pedestal was still there, but they had fallen, tipped over, destroyed, whatever you want to call it, the actual statue. But it's made out of bronze. So when they knocked it over, it didn't hurt it. They carted it away and put it inside the museum that was on site. And then, or I'm not sure if it was a museum or if it was a college or something like that. But he called up the college and said, hey, put that back. And they did. And nobody's talking about it. I don't understand why. It was so important that they knock it over. Look what we did. We knocked over this Confederate statue, blah, blah, blah. And he put it up and everyone's like, yeah, so it's back up. Cool.
Okay.
What? How come there's not, a BLM protest or something,
Yeah. I give up on trying to make sense of those idiots.
Yeah. Have you heard what's going on in Portland? Trump threatened to send the military in.
Good.
And they went to a judge stopped it, and then the Supreme Court says you can't stop it. Trump, but you can't do anything for 3 weeks before you're allowed to actually send them in. And Trump said, okay. And then the first thing that happened after that is Portland police cleared out Antifa.
Ah,
They
okay.
did it themselves, so Trump wouldn't get the satisfaction of doing it himself.
Right.
Which means they could have done it all along.
Well, yeah, of course they could.
They just chose not to do it.
Yes.
So the cops went in and they cleared it all out. A lot of trash left over, of course. But yeah, the cops were on camera saying, well, people who are in the street can't do that. So anybody who's going to be in the street is going to be obstructing, and we're going to take them in and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, you could have done that, what, 4 months ago? Why are you just not just doing? Because someone gave the order is what it comes down to. Someone said, okay, now do it and do your jobs. But of course, they were doing their jobs before. Their jobs were to not do anything.
Yes.
Now they're doing their jobs to do something, which means they could have done all along. So,
well, it is on the list of things that people on their own side will say, is that even though they might not like Trump, they respect the fact that he's doing the things he was elected to do. He is doing what he was elected to do. So, like, while they can have crybabies being like, oh, he's a big bully, oh, you know, he's terrorizing the border and immigrants and shit, even though that's a lie. He's doing what he was elected to do. And they're not doing what they're being elected to do. Like Portland, if I lived in Portland as a person paying taxes, it would be everything I could do to just vote him out. Everything I could, just waiting for enough wiggle room to get them out.
well, I mean, it's been kind of a meme now, or a common phrase with Trump. The phrase is promises made, promises kept.
Yes.
That's been a big thing with his candidacy and his presidency, is that I told you I was going to do this. I don't understand why you're all pissed off at me. I said I was going to do this. Yeah. I'm doing it. What are you upset about?
Like,
I mean, they're upset because they were hoping that he'd be like every other politician and not keep his promises.
Right. Right.
But like, people in those areas must be like so like seriously frustrated, and honestly, like, you couldn't express yourself. You'd be afraid of being jumped.
Yeah.
How many presidents promised to move the embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv?
Yeah.
I mean, Clinton did it, Bush did it, Obama did it.
Yeah.
Just about everybody did it. Even, I don't remember who it was before that, but everybody said they were going to move it. Who moved it? Trump. He promised he would. He did.
Yeah.
You know, and that was his first term. Even back then, he was doing the promises made, promises kept kind of thing. I'm interested to see what he does next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the reactions to Trump. I think Trump derangement syndrome. It is causing a lot of problems in the world, but it's also very, very funny to watch people go nuts.
Satisfying is what it is.
Well, have you ever heard me talk about the tariffs with like actual anger, and not just like like it's a conversation? Yeah, it did happen. I don't doubt it's. But in all honesty, I think if tariffs are affecting Canadians at all, it's the ones we have on the Americans.
So that's the whole thing with the tariffs that seems so absurd, is that all the countries complaining, oh no, Trump is putting tariffs on us. Those countries are putting tariffs on the United States. And they're like much bigger than the ones that Trump put on them.
They also, like I watched my court today talking about the overinflation of taxes and the amount of taxes where it's just like hidden here, hidden there. You know, like Mark ran on getting rid of the carbon tax. He didn't get rid of the carbon tax. Nobody once thought he would do that. He's just going to redirect it to everything else. Well, everything else is more expensive now. So we know where it went.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And, you know, I don't talk like that with you, Terry, because I know that you're in a worse boat than me. I don't think about Australian dollars because it makes me feel very sad for Australia.
Yeah.
Well, everything is more expensive there. What you get paid as your job is more expensive too. So the numbers are inflated, but they're inflated on both sides.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear Australians talk about it because I watched this YouTube channel, Hardware Unboxed, and they say, well, this monitor is going to be 220 US and 475 Australian. I'm like, 475?
Yeah. You get that a lot. You do get that a lot. Most video games in on Steam, I think it's like $60 US, and it's something like 90 to 100 in Australia.
Jeez. But
it's a big difference.
It's on both sides though, because there's not very many people in Australia making 28,000 a year.
Well, I think also, I mean, the minimum wage in Australia is way higher than it is in America.
What is your?
I don't know what the actual minimum wage is, but I know it's like triple what it is in America.
Our minimum wage, I think it's $7.25 is our minimum wage. I think, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Ours is definitely significantly higher than that.
There are places, there are individual businesses that are doing 15, like McDonald's does 15, I think. And there's a couple of places I think are doing 20. You get paid really good if you work for Amazon.
Yeah, I think the problem is that, sure, the people that have jobs get a higher minimum wage. It's just that not nearly as many people have jobs anymore. If you triple the minimum wage.
See, I did resent that. Like, as somebody who worked in minimum wage, it's not that I didn't want to earn more. I wanted to earn more because of the experience I had at the location. Like, say you did go in as a chef and you started off at minimum wage. Say you worked for the guy for 5 years and he could tell that after 5 years, you're probably not somebody that he wants to lose. And you've earned a couple of raises. Like, say you've earned like $5 in a couple of years, and okay, well now you're making something, and you know, maybe a couple of years down the road, you're worth the $22 or $30, you know, because that was worth more to me on a resume, on a fucking resume. And they destroyed that because they can have any kind of asshole go into a job that honestly does take a while to get really good at. Like, yes, minimum wage starts off as minimum wage because it's an easy task, but to get really good at the harder ones, you actually have to have the experience.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think minimum wage should not be your aspiration. I don't think you should be saying, I want to work for minimum wage, so let's make sure minimum wage is really, really high. It should be, I want to be good at my job, so I stop making minimum wage and I start making, you know, what I'm worth.
It's the side of trade where you narrow in what you're going to do. Like, sometimes you do that with customer service. It's like, okay, well, there was a time where I'd looked at doing more of the meat department. Yes, that would have meant maybe going back for some classes, but there are journeyman's methods of working your way into meat department. But it's a lot of work, and yeah, you have to start off proving that you can handle slicers and knives and things like that. But when you work your way up into something, it's almost worth more to you in that regard than it is just getting it through a license through a school.
Yeah.
But by changing what they did, no, they do have to outsource for more professional people, because no, there's no buildup to professionalism. There's no buildup of like, okay, well, I'm the guy who started off as, yeah, he might have just been stocking the shelves. Okay, well, now he's the guy who's rearranging the whole fucking store.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if the government says you have to pay, you know, like $15 an hour, then they're not going to go give a new person a chance. They're going to say, like, well, a new person's not worth $15 an hour. Let's hire someone who's already started. And then the next generation can't get hired because no one wants to pay $15 an hour for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, because like, you need to start somewhere, and raising the minimum wage is just like kicking the ladder out and saying, well, I hope you can jump really, really high.
It's just like that. And it was hard enough building up too, because yet again, in minimum wage, well, there's already people who've been doing that. And they're not going to let go of their jobs, because when you've worked that hard in those kind of spaces, they do actually get paid pretty well. Like, they get decent bonuses and things like that. It's not something to shy from in terms of like a job.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time. Like, you're talking about somebody who worked up for like 10 years you know, and they work through different managers, different levels of management. They've taken all these tests, they've gone to courses and things like that. They've switched stores just so that they have experience in different locations. And you lose all of that by by destroying minimum wage, by what it
Oh,
meant.
yeah.
So yeah, I've resented it ever since they did it, and I'm like, I don't mind getting him a bare minimum job. Like, yeah, sure, I could be a dick for the rest of my life, but like, you know, there's no experience, and then there's no real effort to learn.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's just a bad idea in general to
these
raise the minimum
companies,
wage.
these peoples can increase their minimum wage, but it just increases how much they charge for their product. You know, you can give somebody $15 an hour as a starting position, but then a hot dog is going to cost, you know, $8.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So,
But then people won't pay that $8, so business will decline. And
yeah, there is a fair amount of people who are making enough money that they don't care, and they'll still go.
Yeah.
There's a place near me called Bagel Art Bakery. They make gloriously good food, but a bagel with ham and provolone, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, it's $13 for a bagel with some meat on it. $13. I mean, it's a $5 sandwich that they're selling for $13. It is delicious.
yeah,
But while I'm sitting there eating, because I like to splurge every once in a while, I'm watching people
Yeah,
go in and
cool.
out like it's no big deal. I'm like, thinking to myself, all these people have this kind of money just to have this on a regular basis? It's crazy.
I guess so.
I still wouldn't knock on the hot dog stand people. So if you know your locations and where they go to set up and how they run, there are guys who probably are making about $20 to $25 an hour. You know, they might only be working for 4 to 5 hours, but in front of a bar with a little tip jar that they get to keep, you know, they get their bare minimum. So the overall night was probably about $50, but what they got in tips probably maximized that, because drunk people will throw in $2, dollar here, change,
Yeah.
whatever they got from the bar. It adds up. It really does. And they keep that. You know, obviously it does depend on your laws. Like up here, you know, if you're making $250 a night in tips, yes, you have to tax that. It is taxed. If it's less than that, you can keep it.
I've got to be honest, I think it's really, really weird that the minimum wage is different depending on whether your job regularly gets tipped or not. But that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not getting paid less because of the tips. It's just they have a tip jar. And
No, but like the minimum wage in
though.
America is different depending on whether your job gets tips or not,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
The idea that foreigners understand our tipping system is, you know, it's not possible. People who don't live in a tipping environment just don't get it. And no one ever will. Everyone I've ever talked to who's not from the States is like, your tipping is bullshit, and your taxes after when your food is bullshit. They have all these issues where they can't add and subtract, you know? All right. I know that my state charges 6 cents on a dollar for tax. So when I look at something that says 250, I know it's going to be 256 because I can add 6 cents to it, you know, or 12 cents. It's, you know, I can add that right there when I'm picking up whatever piece I'm picking up. And that's too much work for people who are not in the United States. They just feel like, why don't you just pay 250 because it says 250?
So Canada does have a tipping culture. It's just dependent on states, or not states, provinces. So
Provinces, yeah.
Quebec doesn't do a lot of tipping. Like I don't know where they got that from, but they think that you should be paid what you're worth in the first place. They own that. They think the bar or the owner of this establishment, they think they're at fault.
That probably came over from the French.
But with like a lot of us, like at best it's the range. You might have to guess on what the range is. Like my mom had a card that I wish I could take back from her from like the 2000s, and it just gave you a percentage of what range you should have. And on the back of it, it had a range for American percentages too. Like I don't know that it had all the cities, but like it had like a few of the big major ones on it. But it just gave you a percentage of like, okay, this is your bare minimum tip. And then this is a generous tip. This is a reasonable tip, you know, and it gave you a range of where you would be based off of province, because even in Canada, you know, you go from one province to the other, the price does change. We're not too different from you in that regard. But I've always known that if I was in the US, yeah, there's tipping. I would probably have to ask just to make sure I was on the right percentage, because I don't want to get ripped off either. But at the same time, though, people do the job. I understand how it works. Also, half the time that I see dishes from the US, it's stuff that I was jealous of anyway, Terry, because we get advertisements from the US that we can't buy up here.
Of course.
You know, so you'll see stuff and be like, fuck yeah, I'll give you a tip. I want that.
Yeah.
We get advertisements in the United States because the United States is so big. We get advertisements from other states that don't have whatchamacallits, stores in our area. So they have the stores like that are in like Texas. We don't have those stores here. I can't get a Whataburger. That's all on the East Coast. There's no Whataburgers out here. You know, so and we're in the same country.
Yeah, yeah. It is a very big country.
Yeah. But yeah, I just watched a video the other day showing where franchises came from by state. So it would say like Illinois gave us Starbucks and Sbarro's and, you know, all these big chains that we all know, even though some of them are not near us. Of course, Starbucks is everywhere, but they went to other states. I'm like, oh, I would love to have something from them, you know, but I don't live anywhere. Shake Shack is in Maine. I keep hearing how great Shake Shack is, but there's nothing in Pennsylvania. There's a bagel place called Einstein Brothers Bagels. There isn't one in Pennsylvania. They're all, I used to get bagels from them when I lived in Virginia because they're just amazing. They have this honey butter that they put on their bagels. It's just, oh my God, it's delicious. But there's none in Pennsylvania, so I'm fucked.
But one of the reasons I have no problem using an ad blocker on YouTube is 99% of the ads that I see are just exclusive to the United States. And so,
yeah.
Well, then, like, the company's not benefiting from advertising to me. I'm not benefiting from seeing the ad. Well, let's just skip it. Let's not bother.
It's a little different in Canada because they have their own version of a lot of websites. Like they have google.ca.
Basically, a lot of times we'll get coupons where we have to really check that the coupons are for Canada and not for US.
But they don't really have anything for Australia. You don't have a google.aus or anything like that, right?
No, we do. It's google.au.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I can imagine some of that does have to do with Canadians living closer to the border. Like I'm actually a fair distance away from the border, but like if you know different provinces or different little towns, a lot of people will just skip the border to go to the US, buy something, and come back. You know, yeah.
It's one of the fun things I did before I left one of my old businesses. I used to take care of it was a pretty big security hardware computer security company, and they had offices in Mississauga. So I used to go there every couple of months just to make sure things were working properly, do any maintenance, that kind of stuff. So I used to fly into Toronto Airport and then just, you know, go over to their location. And one of the last things I did before I quit that job was I set up the router that they were using to get on the internet, so that anytime they tried to go to google.ca, it would take them to google.com.
Oh, okay.
They could not get if they typed in google.ca and hit enter, it would take them to google.com. I don't know if anybody ever fixed it, to be honest with you. They could still be getting forced into google.com. They may not know the difference.
Frosted says, did I get sick of seeing commercials for knives smaller than a Bowie knife? It's been so long since I've seen an ad on YouTube. I don't even know what ad he's referring to.
What do you use for your ad blocker?
Brave. It's got one built in.
Oh, I see the Brave one. So if you were to use like Chrome or something like that, do you have any protection?
No, I just don't use Chrome.
Oh, well, that's the easiest protection.
Brave is essentially Chrome, but it doesn't.
Yeah. It uses the same engine. They both use Chromium as their engine. Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't save your details and sell your information the way that Google does. Yeah. And that's really that's like the main selling point. But I actually like it more just for having a built-in ad blocker. It's like I don't have to.
It's not just an ad blocker. Brave also has a built-in script blocker too.
Yeah.
So, but the problem with me is that Brave is very aggressive with their script blocking, so it breaks a lot of websites. and you don't really
Yeah.
have much control over it either. It just is there.
Yeah.
I did
So the on or off.
what I did with Chrome is I installed a separate script blocker that allows me to edit and say, I want this script to go through, but not that script.
Yeah, I'm way too lazy for any of that. I'll just let Brave figure out what I need to block and what I don't.
Well, there's this weird thing going on with Amazon that when I first go in, it brings up Windows Hello. Only happens on Amazon. So it's got to be something with Amazon. So it's got to be a script that Amazon's running. Now, if it's a script on their main website, there's nothing I can do. For me to get to Amazon.com, I have to allow that to go through. So if that script is part of Amazon.com, I'm screwed. But if it's another site, I can turn Windows Hello off by blocking other scripts. So
yes,
I haven't gotten around to fucking with it yet, but it's something that's been annoying me. But I like having that control.
One of the things I've noticed lately with stuff that I block or I automatically grow a hate bone for, it's the AI ads. Like, I don't actually have a hate bone for AI, but AI alone is a little bit sketchy because it's AI. And B, you're trying to peddle something to me at the same time. So my brain just goes into red alert. No, go fuck yourself.
I have zero problem with AI. If someone wants to use AI in an ad, let them. I don't see a problem with it.
I just don't like it. Like, it's just instantly like, okay, well, I have no idea where this is coming from. This could be an Indian behind a script bar doing this shit. And I'm just like instantly like, no. It's the same response that I get to like the phone ads when they call you. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but like I'm not going to buy it anyway. I don't care if they use AI in the ad. Like,
what I don't like about the way AI is currently being used is that the AI programs that I play with are not independent of their platform. So if I want to Google something and I want to use AI, I can't use Grok. I have to get out of Google, go into X, go into Grok, and then type it in there.
Yeah.
And vice versa. They should be standalone programs so I should be able to plug in. Anytime I do a search in Google, instead of bringing up Google's AI, which you should be able to turn off entirely, but you can't, I want to use Grok's interface instead, but you can't do that.
No.
Grok is a pretty good AI. All things considered, using ChatGPT and a couple others. I really like Google's the best. It does some weird stuff from time to time, but it's never completely. I mean, I have a sub in my stereo system in the living room. I have a home theater system, and I have a sub. It was made by a company called Velodyne. They're still in business, but I have a problem with the sub it's out of warranty. I need to get it fixed. The problem is nobody fixes it. So I went out to Grok and I said, I'm having a problem with the amp in my subwoofer. If you use it for too long, it kicks off because it gets too hot. It's digital. It's not an analog amp. It's a digital amp. An analog amp will just cool itself off. But digital amps, once they get hot, they keep getting hot until they say, okay, I've had enough. And they shut themselves off until they reach a temperature they can run at again. And I said, but I don't know what to do about it. I mean, it's just basically talking plain text to Grok. And Grok said, oh, there's a company that fixes those. They gave me their name, when they're open, and their telephone number and everything. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even ask for any of this stuff. And it gave me a solution.
Yeah.
The only problem is the company doesn't open back up until November 4th. So I have to wait.
Ooh, it's a bit of a wait.
Only a couple of days. Today's the 29th, so it's a week.
Yeah, but like, if you need it fixed, then having to wait.
Yeah, I've been needing it fixed for a year, so it's not something that drives me crazy. I only use my home theater system maybe once a week. And it's usually for movies. It's only when you play music where it's just a thumping bass for 3 minutes straight. You know, that's when it usually has problems. So if I just turn it down a little bit, the volume and or the bass down a little bit, it usually squeaks by. So I can mitigate it. So it's not too terrible, but it's fucking annoying. I want to be able to blow the fucking windows off my house, you know? And it will. I had to stop using that amp in my house in Virginia because it was causing structural damage to the house.
That's pretty funny.
It was shaking it so hard that screws for the plaster boards were unscrewing themselves. I was like, I can't. I eventually had to take it out because I wasn't the only one living in my house. I had roommates back then.
Yeah.
So I'd be at work and they'd be playing the stereo, and I'm like, dude, you're killing my house. Don't do that. So I eventually had to take it out and put it in storage.
Mm. My only problem with AI is I can't think of anything to ask it. It's like I don't find myself thinking, oh, I just need to ask it this because I just I never seem to need it. I was like, I respect what it does, but I just haven't found a need for it in my own life.
The last thing I asked my AI, Grok, I've been thinking about getting another car, and I wanted to know which car was best in the snow. And it came up with Subaru Impreza, Subaru Forester, then a Honda, and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, Subaru got the top two. What kind of cars do they have? So I said, I was still in Grok when he recommended what the top ones are. I says, does Subaru have an SUV? And he said, yes, it has a Subaru Crosstrek. And it was from this year to this year. And this is the model numbers. And this is the model types. And this is the general cost. And this is where you can find the best deals. It just gave me everything I would ever want to know if I ever decided to buy that car. So I was like, cool. Yeah, that's the way an AI should work. It should do all the bullshit stuff for me. So,
yeah, that's what it's for.
I may end up buying one because I'm in a position now where I'm by myself because I'm not seeing anybody anymore, and I can't just use her car or ask her to drive me somewhere in her SUV. I have to rely on myself now, so I have to have an SUV on my own. So,
right.
That's what's going to have to happen because it's going to snow here. We're going to get 2.5 feet. I'm going to be stuck. So I can't let that happen.
That sounds like a lot of snow. 2.5 feet sounds like a lot.
Not unusual for this area. But you'll get like 1 or 2 of those a year. Usually it's 6 inches or something like that. But I obviously I can't use a Corvette in that kind of weather.
No.
The poll is out.
It is.
If you were with us on Rumble, you've heard the sampling of all of these songs. So if you don't recognize something, well, you should have been on Rumble.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think that's a one-hit wonder for the Tubes, isn't it? She's a Beauty.
I have no idea.
I think it's a one-hit wonder. They did a part of the soundtrack for Xanadu. Well, they did a song. Okay. But and it was kind of a hit, but it was a collaboration with Olivia Newton-John.
Well, it looks like no one is voting for the Tubes anyway. So.
Yeah, kind of watching that. It's a little bit of a slower song against the other three. The other three are a little bit better.
Well, it seems like there's a pretty standout winner.
Yep, so far. But we're only 7 votes in. We usually get around 14, so we'll let that go for a little bit.
And Frosted says the only one he recognizes is Authority song. So that might be tilting the scales. Maybe people don't recognize the other songs and won't hear for the Rumble pre-show.
Probably is more popular than the other ones, but it just depends on the time you listen to music, because the Semisonic song was from a movie called 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, okay.
With the guy who played Joker for Batman. What the hell's his name?
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Heath Ledger. And the girl who played, what's her name? I used to be so good with names for people in movies. I used to come up with names immediately like that, but I can't do it anymore. She was in the Bourne movies. She was
I haven't seen them.
Assistant in the Bourne movies, but I can't remember her name.
Oh, well. Let's just look it up. See if
yeah, the Heath Ledger ends up trying to date this girl, and she's kind of like, ultimate feminist.
Julia Stiles, is that the one you're thinking of?
That's who it is. It's Julia Stiles. So he's trying to date her on a bet. How many times have we seen that in a movie?
Yeah,
The guys
it's pretty
trying
common.
to date the evil witch in a bet, and they go to a paintball thing, but not paintball with gloves, paintball with large balls, baseball size, and
Oh god.
they're wearing white smocks, so it doesn't actually hit their clothes, kind of deal.
Okay.
But they're running around throwing at each other and giggling and laughing, all that kind of stuff. And they finally run into this hay bale and they end up kissing, and it's isn't that so nice?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
they're playing this song, "Fascinating New Thing" in the background
Okay.
because it applies for her to have her heart stolen by a guy is a fascinating new thing, and he's never dated a witch before, so it's a fascinating new
Right.
thing. So the song makes a lot of sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have not seen the movie. I don't think it sounds like my kind of movie, to be honest.
Only America was a big thing for. Remember flash mobs?
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
I've never really.
in America, flash mobs were a thing for a period of time, and "Calling America" was a song that a lot of people played in flash
Okay.
mobs. That and what was the Michael Jackson song? Thriller.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was a big flash mob song too.
At least Thriller's a good song, like a really good song.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll let that run for a while. 7 votes. We got a bunch of people. That should get up to around 14 or so, and I'll stop it there.
Blue Eyed Screen says Taming of the Shrew remake. That's what I was thinking when Hammer was describing it. It sounds very much like the Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah, it's definitely that. She was very much played the feminist. The thing is, in real life, she's a feminist too. But he's in a bookstore with her, and she's pissed at him about something, and he says, "Hi, I'm looking for a copy of, what was the book that he was looking for? The Feminine Mystique."
Oh God!
I know it is a hugely feminist book, and they're talking, and they finally get to a point where she gets pissed off, and she finds the book, slams against his chest, and says, "Here, this might teach you something." And she walks out.
Yeah,
it's a great scene. It's a great movie. You haven't seen it. If you can get past the plot being very rudimentary, it's actually a really good movie because they're both really good actors. So
yeah.
There's a subplot where the guy who hires Keith to tame the shrew, the reason he's taming the shrew is because the guy who hired him is trying to get to the shrew's sister, who's a little hottie.
I think that's also in the Shakespeare version.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the whole premise of the Taming of the Shrew is the sisters have to get married by age, and because the shrew is the older sister,
just get married first.
She has to get married first, and so the main character has to seduce the shrew so that the one who wants the younger sister can then proceed to marry the younger sister.
That's my fault. When I was going to college, I had my option between classical American literature or contemporary American literature, and I took contemporary. So I don't know any of the greats. I don't know Hamlet or Julius Caesar. I don't know any of that stuff.
I only know a handful of Shakespeare plays, but Taming of the Shrew is one that I haven't read the play or seen it performed, but I know the storyline in overview.
Yeah, the books we were looking at were like Fahrenheit 451 and Catcher in the Rye and those kind of books. So it was more contemporary stuff.
And Frosted in chat says they should have just called it "Sticking a Dick in Crazy."
Yeah. They end up together though. Or just a spoiler for people who are not going to watch the movie.
Yeah, his spoiler for the centuries-old story.
Yeah. So. Started off with the one topic that I didn't really tell everybody about, but we got 3 more if there's something you guys want to pick.
Yeah. So people said that we're going to just rob Walmart, and so Walmart said, no.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I saw that on Twitter. I didn't see it on TV or anything like that, but I saw a tweet posted that included a quote from Walmart. So it's not like it was just somebody thought it was a good idea. Walmart actually is doing this. And then so I went out to CNN. There was no mention. I went to Fox News, and that was the first thing on their website was Walmart's going to close November 1st because they're afraid that they're just going to get robbed blind, and they probably would be. Considering the number of people who are going to be without EBT, it's going to be a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, people are still saying that Trump's doing this. This is all Trump's fault. Trump. And all you got to do is ask him, well, how did Schiff vote on opening the government? Did he vote no? Yeah. So who's really holding it back?
I think
just list the Democrat senators and just say, see, this one said no, this one said no, this one said no, this one said no.
Yeah. I think the picture I've seen a lot of is basically true, where they show the sign at the park that says, "Don't feed the wild animals because they grow dependent on the free food," and it's like, hint, hint.
It is pretty true.
Yeah.
Seems like if you're on EBT, there are people who are generationally on EBT, grandfathers, fathers, sons, daughters, all that kind of stuff. That's been doing it for 50 years.
I think it's all about incentives. If it is more profitable to stay on benefits than to get a job, then why would anyone get a job?
Yeah. Well, they have to now.
Yeah. Oh, good.
But it's only a part-time job. They got to work 20 hours a week.
That's fine. That's better than zero.
Well, yeah, but our numbers are. I mean, this is a jobs plan. This is Trump's jobs plan. He wants to get people working again. Take away their EBT and they'll have to work. It's better than putting a bill through Congress to incentivize jobs. You take away their EBT and everyone gets a job.
Yeah. No, you just have to. It's all about incentives. If people are getting a benefit, like more benefit from not working than they would from working, then no one's going to want to work. So it absolutely makes sense for him to say, okay, then we're taking away the benefit, get a job.
Because of my age and my current infirmity, which say that 3 times fast, I qualify for EBT. I could get EBT myself. Yeah. But I don't. There are people who need it a lot fucking more than I do. I got my own house, got my own car. I'm doing okay. Give it to the people who need it.
I don't have a problem with, like, if you genuinely can't work, like you're disabled and elderly, and at the point where like you simply wouldn't be able to work a job because of those factors, then sure, I don't have a problem with some degree of government assistance. But if you're just lazy, then fuck you, get a job.
Yeah. I see people on Twitter saying, well, just get rid of EBT altogether. I'm like, hello, what about people who can't work? What are you going to do about them?
Yeah, I think
because they don't say get rid of it except for people who can't work. They just say get rid of it entirely.
Well, I think I would say get rid of EBT, assuming EBT is just like government benefits in general.
Welfare.
Yeah, and then then institute a different kind of benefits that only applies to the elderly and disabled, or whoever it is that you decide you don't mind receiving welfare.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there both ways. You're just using a different name. If you knock everybody off who can work, then you're basically left with people who are either disabled or elderly. So
yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, instead of trying to modify EBT, because that's going to cause issues, just scrap the entire thing, then institute, BBT or whatever, like just some new thing, and then go. But the only people who qualify for this new thing is the elderly and disabled.
Yeah. You would have to have everybody reapply for the new one.
You would. That's true.
That's an awful lot of people, an awful lot of work.
Yeah, but if the net benefit is that 75% of the people currently on welfare are no longer qualify,
it would certainly clean the books, though, wouldn't it? Because you'd be able to look at each person individually who applied and make sure that they really deserved it.
Yes.
I still think if you live in an area that's kind of risky, that you should just check that you have better locks, better, everything on your windows, doors, arm yourself, for the EBT robs.
Yeah. Oh. I think, you
sorry.
You need to restrict who is able to be who is able to receive government benefits, because you don't want to incentivize people to not work, because then the country falls apart.
We don't want to do what we're currently doing.
Not at all. No.
And if they're online confessing to things that they're planning to do,
Then lock them up.
and you own a
Yeah.
fucking store, you already have that now. Don't let them in.
Like
Yeah.
if you've got people online saying, "I will 100% rob Walmart if you take away my government benefits," then you have police officers standing outside the Walmart, and when the idiot
Standing
is-
outside, standing inside, and standing next to places where you actually pay. You want officers everywhere, and you want to let 3 people in at a time. That's it.
Basically,
exactly.
until they understand that no, actually, you're not going to do that fucking shit, and if you do, you're going to go to fucking jail, and then put them in jail.
Absolutely, that's the important thing. Actually, put them in jail.
Keep them in there for a while.
You know,
Yes.
because this is the thing. They're the reason that they're losing their own food. Like they complain all the time about having what food barons.
Food
It's because
deserts,
of,
yeah.
because of stupid shit like this.
Food
Well, yeah.
deserts,
I mean, if you rob every store that tries to open in your area, it doesn't take a genius to see that. Hey, maybe they'll stop opening in your area.
Well, if Walmart closes, they'll just steal from somewhere else.
Well, sure, but then that company will also leave because they can't remain profitable.
A lot of companies have already done that.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point too. You know,
Yeah, food desert.
and in all honesty, it sucks for everybody else who doesn't deserve that shit. Because yes, there are a lot of elderly people that don't engage in that shit.
Yeah, you should hear people who live in these difficult areas. We'll just call them difficult areas, who are like, we got to stop this stealing because I can't get my medication. You know.
Like I feel so bad for them because, like, yeah, they're probably the most innocent ones in all of this. But
what are they going to do? They can't move. They don't have any money.
No, sure. No, I think you do need to clean up the benefit system and scrapping a bunch of people's benefits to force them to either reapply or get a job, and then like strictly control who is actually granted the benefits, make sure they are literally unable to work. Then yeah, I've got no problem with doing that to get people off their asses and into employment.
Well, we'll see what happens in 3 days.
It will be interesting.
I wish for the best for people. Like I hope a lot of that's just hype from people being stupid online, but all the same though, sometimes people let you know what they're.
Yeah, I think if someone confesses to planning to commit a crime, then I think take it seriously. Just like, okay, well, they have announced an intention to break the law. I don't know if that constitutes breaking the law in and of itself. I don't know the laws around that, but at the very least, you can be like, okay, well, let's keep an eye on this idiot and make sure he doesn't do it.
Yep. That's what I would do if I was a major store owner, Walmart. Hey, I know you guys think you have unlimited insurance, but according to the shutdown of your stores, that's not true. So
there's no such thing as unlimited. That doesn't exist. Blue-eyed scream says society needs to heal. I don't know if it's possible at this point. It is pretty far gone. It's going to take a lot of work to try and repair things at this point. I don't know if it's possible, but I certainly hope it can be done. Oh, and he says conspiracy to commit a crime. If that's already illegal, then lock them up for conspiracy to commit a crime. Then that's good. That there's a law against it.
Well, people are becoming very bold-faced when it comes to what they put on Twitter.
Yeah, because there's no consequences.
Well, there is, because people who went after Charlie Kirk got fired. So there is consequences.
Yeah, okay, but there was no consequences for so long that's why they became emboldened.
The key things that have happened in the last 5 years is Musk buying X and Trump getting reelected. Those are like the two biggest things. I mean, can you imagine where the United States would be right now if Trump had gotten killed?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Well, the thing that changed people with Charlie Kirk is we can't take them on their word that it's just a joke anymore, because they're serious.
They are
The amou-
serious. They
The
proved
amount
it.
of times they are flat out serious, it's like, I'm sorry, this isn't dark humor anymore. You've gone from dark humor to exasperating a problem.
I can understand political violence against politicians because there's been a very thin line of that throughout our entire history. Even the fact
Yeah.
that we left and made America was this kind of an act of political violence against the king.
It was.
You know? So it kind of runs in our DNA somewhat, or at least in our history. But Charlie was not a politician.
He was not.
He spoke on politics, but he was not a politician. He couldn't change anything except minds, but that was enough.
That's the scariest thing.
Yeah. So, but he was an innocent. He was just a guy with a wife and kids. Can't ask for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Trump's background and he's all like, I cheated and I said this and grabbed him by the pussy and all this kind of stuff. He has a history and reasons why people could hate him. Charlie was just a nice guy, you know?
Yeah.
So one of the things I did watch lately was one of Nux's it was one of his clips, because I haven't watched his streams in a while, but he was doing a deeper dive on the furry friend of the guy who killed Charlie.
Yeah.
And the more you look into the two of them, like, Tyler comes across as like a quiet, introverted guy, but like he comes across as like a normie up until he goes to college. And then his friend has clearly got psychological issues, or sorry, his boyfriend clearly has psychological issues. And yet again, he goes to college, and instead of like people like being like, maybe get this guy some help, they exasperate it. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people aren't looking at when it comes to Charlie. Between Charlie and Crowder, I thought Charlie was the better guy for it, because he was way calmer with the kids. Like, yes, he had a temper. Everybody does. But he was better at holding his than Crowder is.
Oh, yeah.
But every time he would go, you could see that like a lot of the kids are so fucking wired up that I don't think their parents could recognize them in those videos. You know, and there is a bit of truth to this pipeline to college theory, where like they're going in to get an education so they can maybe get a job from something, and they're coming out wired and crazy and dumber than they went in.
Charlie was a really good debater because he spent time looking at other debaters and how they did things and how they did things wrong. And he took steps to not do the same things. He would ask somebody in the audience a question, what is a woman? And he would put his microphone down. It's a little thing, but it kept him from holding it to his mouth and yelling over top of them.
Yeah.
It's just smart.
But it also is like, as a gesture, it shows that I'm done talking, I'm listening now. Like, just that gesture, even like besides stopping him from yelling at them, it also signifies
you have my attention.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you have my attention. Yeah.
Like, at no point, like, I think there's maybe one or two clips where I've seen him kind of snip at a student. Outside of people getting really aggravating, which, you're going to snip at some point. Yeah. He was always kind of walking away from the disagreements with like I don't agree with you, but it was a good conversation. You know, guys don't give them a hard time.
I heard him say that 100 times.
You know, and it was constant with him. And that's the thing I don't think that they really get in the schools. Like, if their teachers are harpies like I think they are, they're hyping up the kind of behavior where, no, if you didn't say the right thing, they're gonna let the other students rail you. They're gonna give you bad marks for it. They're gonna treat you like you're the worst person in the room. So having Charlie do that,
that was one of the things I really liked about him. He would say, "Come on, guys! It takes a lot of courage to come up here and talk like this."
He would tell his supporters out in the audience to let them talk. Yeah.
So I do respect Charlie for being able to like rein in his own crowd, because a lot of the people would be like, "See, they all support me. I'm right. I'm wonderful." But Charlie's like, no, let them talk. It takes a lot of courage to come up and speak in a situation like this. So quiet down a bit and just let them say the thing.
It also kind of guarantees that he's going to get more left-wing people to come up, because if they see him being fair to one guy, they can assume
Yeah,
they'll be fair
exactly.
to him too.
Yeah.
Crowder is also going to lead towards comedy, even if he doesn't mean to. Like, he's been really calm and decent about it lately. But like when he went into it, yeah, there was a part of him who was going in as a debater, but he was always coming from an angle of being a bit of a comedian. So if
Yeah.
you were being a clown, yeah, he's going to let you be a clown. Like, the thing that changed is Charlie. Because Charlie wasn't doing any of that. He was really, yeah, I'm coming at you as like, yeah, I'm just a person having a conversation with you. I know you're a student. Let's have a proper debate. And yeah, he got shot for it. And everyone is changed because of this. They know it. They do know it. Like this stuff coming from the left, it either has to stop, or eventually the right's going to see them as, no, we have to defend ourselves from crazy people. Sorry.
There's a tweet. There's a tweet from Blair White. It says, "I actually don't think it's the responsibility of the side getting shot to turn the temperature down."
Well, of course.
That was one of the most. She had like two brilliant tweets in a row. The other one was, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She had two brilliant tweets in a row. I was like, "Damn, Blair, you're going hard."
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I think that's why a lot of people on the right are more willing to report people now. Like, I'm not saying that it's always right. Like, there's still some times where I'm like, I wouldn't, like, you know, like have some actual beliefs in your own beliefs. But like, I do think people are more of like, I don't trust this person to not be serious. And I'm not going to give them the inch. And yeah, we are reporting people more. Like, I haven't been, but I know I'll retweet something. You know, be like, yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
I hope somebody comes along that is like Charlie, because he was very talented for an autodidact. He had his faith behind him, and he had his history behind him. And I don't see anybody who has that. Nobody is nearly as entrenched in their faith on the political stage for conservatives as Charlie was. And nobody knows the history of the things that he talks about like Charlie did. So it's going to take somebody who really, and that must be what Charlie did. He must just spend his time reading books and getting up to speed on all these things. That way he'd be able to win debates. It's a little bit of Shapiro, but not quite, because Shapiro's Jewish. So he can't speak to the biggest part of the United States as far as its religion. We're all Christians, pretty much.
I'd say to word it better is it's not that people that are conservative aren't still open to people coming to the table. It's more of just the tolerance for, okay, how long is it going to take for you to start actually behaving like an asshole? And the minute you start doing that, you can get the fuck out. I think that's what's changed. They still want people to come to the table. And if you can hold a conversation and, yeah, have a decent conversation. You know, like, let's level out different beliefs so that we can hash them out. Like, that is something that we desperately need to do. But the minute you start behaving like one of these fucked in the head retard lefties who can't hold a conversation starts behaving like a child, I'd even go to the level of like, I wouldn't deal with the Destiny. I don't think his conversations are valid because he has to word salad so much over another person.
Yeah, that's a Ben Stein precept right there. He says you have to make the initial evaluation of what you say is going to be taken seriously. If the person on the other end is just a fucking idiot, there's no reason talking to him.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't engage with the person who thought I was non-binary, because I acknowledged that men getting sexually assaulted is taken less seriously. They're like, well, clearly this person is retarded. There's no point me talking to them if they think Wolf Glick enjoyed being sexually assaulted. It's like, well, okay, this person's retarded. I'm just not going to talk to them.
Charlie Kirk did this too. I remember him having a discussion with a person about abortion, and they got to the point where Charlie said, well, where's the cutoff point? Where do you say it's, you can't, you obviously you don't want to kill somebody who's born. He says, what about if they're in their 9th month? And the person responding to him, I don't remember if it was a guy or a girl. I think it was a guy, said, oh yeah, you can kill him in the 9th month. And the
Really?
whole crowd shushed and went, oh, like that. And Charlie Kirk's mouth opened and he just stopped and looked at the guy. And he says, well, thanks for your opinion. Have a great day. And immediately dismissed him. Because it's murder.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That
You know,
is
guy-
monstrous.
It is. So it was like, I have to go out and see if I can find that somewhere. I'm not sure how. I probably maybe get Grok to try to track it down for me, but I definitely remember that thing, because how everyone else reacted was just as important as how Charlie did. Everyone else, like, immediately, there's all kinds of noise and people are talking, blah, blah, blah. It suddenly got dead quiet.
Oh, bet it did.
And the thing that really got me most about it is the guy was smiling when he said it.
That's insane.
It is insane. So we are, again,
We are at time.
we are talking so much and enjoying this discussion that we have gone through the entire show in a matter of seconds to me.
Yeah. It goes
So-
quick.
Yeah. You guys have anything else to get before we get out of here?
I'm good.
Jen?
Nah, I'm good. It was a good convo. That's how
Yes, it
goes.
was. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening except Thursday, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host and start times are linked in the description down below. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream will start generally a half an hour before YouTube. It started exactly 8:30 tonight.
It
We will
did.
be back. It did. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good
Bye,
one,
guys.
guys.